Welcome to this course of Process Maker. I'm going to start with some important facts here. Um, well, the purpose of this course, the architect course, is to give you some background about how to be a designer in Process Maker. So the idea is to give you the tools, and you're going to learn these tools and learn how to use them to become a better architect. To become a better architect, it means that you are going to be a good designer. So, generally, is that the idea. I want to know your background is: are you IT engineers or staff members of management? What is the background that you have here? Okay, well, so the purpose of this course is to give you the ideas about how to become a good designer, and also you are going to see how Process Maker works and how it's going to be going on with all the process, with all the ways that offers the even some solutions that you might have. For instance, instead of having hundreds of papers, you're going to have the evidence of some documents or maybe some files that you can keep in Process Maker. So that's the main purpose of Process Maker, to make it easier the way we can handle papers, we can handle some material management. So let's begin with that. So welcome to the Advanced Architect course. My name is Pablo. I'm going to be giving this course for you. It's the Advanced Architect course. I am staff member from the training department here in Process Maker, and I want to show you all about Advanced Architect course. After these sessions of Advanced Architect, we are going to talk about Developer course. But Developer course is to go up. It lies ahead. So we have some time. We need some time to spend on Advanced Architect course. Let's begin. Well, first of all, I'm going to present some important information, relevant information about Process Maker. We are a company that we create some applications. Applications means software, and our idea is to make processes, the design of processes, as a way to adjust some management system and also to help staff members of these administrative tasks to make easier the way they can handle their jobs. So this is about Process Maker. Process Maker is a company that was founded in October 2000, as you can see there. And well, we have offices in US, in Greenwich, Durham, and also some international offices like Paris, London, Bogota, and La Paz. But we have around 150 employees and a network of partners in 30 plus countries on 5 continents. Actually, when I give trainings, or one of my colleagues gives a training, which we usually give to other countries, like for instance Indonesia, or maybe you need to give to Greece, or so on. So it depends on the needs of the customers. Sometimes you need to travel to give the training. But it's from my experience that I have seen this kind of work. Well, I wanted to mention also the prices that we have on as Process Maker. You can see that we have many prices. You can see further information about Process Maker in processmaker.com. So you are going to see updated information about the services that we offer. This includes the webinars, includes the trainings that we offer, or maybe you can ask for some specific training if you need to do it. So it's a very ample way to satisfy the customer needs. Course introduction. Well, I'm going to spend some time here. What I try to do in this course is to make users become architects, in the sense that an architect is going to be able to design a process, systematize some tasks, and observe the reality of their tasks in the daily life. So they are going to transform and to transfer all that information and make it a process in Process Maker. I know that by now is like, okay, what is happening here? We haven't seen right now. We haven't seen yet what is the process that he's talking about. We're going to represent processes in a map, and by doing that, we are going to identify your tasks. We are going to map the sequence of activities that you do in your daily work, and then you systematize something. It's just that. Well, three main objectives. After finishing this course, you will be able to, as I am reading, design and map businesses processes. It means I'm going to draw, represent my processes, and identify my activities in a process. Create dynaforms, input documents, and output documents. So this is going to be like you are going to become a designer, where you are going to create your dynaforms, create your input documents. It means documents that you upload, that you receive, that you need to keep. For instance, that's an input document. And an output document is something that you produce using some information. For instance, an invoice. An invoice is an output document, and an input document can be any document that you receive from an external source. Okay, so it can be like some bill that you are going to receive, some invoices that you receive, and you have to take all these information. Then you have the third point is use advanced process maker features to completely automate business processes. By doing that, Process Maker is not just a designer. You are going to amplify your capacity to use many functions in Process Maker. So I'm going to explain more about the uses of Process Maker features in some particular uses that you are going to be able to use. Course guides. Well, Process Maker University. I have sent some credentials, and these credentials are going to be used for you in Process Maker University. So you are going to follow a guide, Process Maker University, and this guide is going to give you some instructions for laboratories that you have to do. It's like we want you to learn through doing some practical experience. I'm going to give the lesson, the session, the content, and then you're going to expand and also be owner of this knowledge and apply it. But the URL, as you can see, is universityprocessmaker.com. I'm going to explain that Process Maker is one of the most important sources that we use in Process Maker. Well, it says, follow the instructions in the email to log in. Feel free to ask any questions during the training. Well, about the third point, feel free to ask any questions during the training. You can stop me to ask about a question, but not using a microphone. But in case you need to explain a very specific question that is hard to explain writing, you can ask to use the microphone and then explain very accurately your question. What happens that maybe you are going to ask something like, can we use dinosaurs with a different language? It's something that I can answer you if you write it in the chat. So there is no problem. But you are going to propose a case that it happened to you in your daily work, and then it's sometimes it's hard to explain, to put it in words. So I suggest that you can raise a hand or announce in the chat and say, I have a question, and then I'm going to be at the total I'm going to answer your question with no doubt, without hesitating. Okay, so we want you to have a good training, we want you to learn nice. Okay, certification exam. Well, after finishing both courses, architect course and the developer course, the users are going to be in the place of using this of having the possibility to take a test, and in this test we are going to answer some questions about the contents that we have discussed during the sessions. So this means that you are going to be able to examine all the parts, to look also from other sources, other type of information. So another type of information like the wiki page. We have a process maker wiki page. Well, in general, you are going to use many resources to accumulate some knowledge and then do your test. So we want you to use all this information. I suggest that you can also look your labs, you look your links to the wiki page of Process Maker and so on. And also try to ask me any question that you have. I'm going to be able to answer you. I'm going to be free to answer. Okay? Well, intro to BPM. Well, BPM is an acronym of Business Process Management. BPM in itself is not a software, it's a system of management. And it's a system that goes incorporated with the idea of using a BPMN. It's a notation for the system of management. And including the part of BPMN, we want to include a software that is BPM software. So it's a way to amplify our scope of targets here in management. So, business process management. BPM. What is business process management? Well, the goal, the improvement of business performance and agility by applying one or all of the following. A comprehensive, well understood and documented set of standardized processes. What it means this? I'm going to represent a process with the tools of design that I have in Process Maker. And then I'm going to have some evidences and documents. So that's why you become an architect. You are going to design the process and modify if necessary, because the process is not going to be the same years. It's going to be changed depending on your requirements. Process documentation versus process mapping. Process mapping means the ways that the location, the sequence of tasks that I'm going to use. Process documentation refers that in a process I'm going to produce some documents, receive some documents, but also filling some documents. Focus business processes on a common goal and consolidates responsibility over the entire process rather than dividing responsibilities into parts by department. Because sometimes the processes are not just for one area, you may have to work in an interrelation with other departments of a company. So that's why we use the idea of a BPM. It's like we are going to introduce some tasks, and each department is going to be responsible of that task. So there is a way that you can trace all that information, what is going on. And also you are going to see opportunities in which you can improve all your process and hence all your management. We continue. Okay. Well, then it says reporting tools and key performance indicators. Well, I'm going to go ahead for a while. If I'm going to run a process, if I'm going to represent a process in Process Maker, then run some information in a process in Process Maker, you're going to obtain data. And from that data, you're going to be able to use some analysis. And by doing this task of analysis, you're going to become an analyst and you're going to produce your own reports using some information that you have in Process Maker. But also I want to talk about the tools. You're going to have some tools that are going to expand the capacity to assess some important aspects of your company. Finally, it says an approach to process improvement. I'm reading the part with the line, the blue rectangle, okay? An approach to process improvement, including an approach to measuring and monitoring day-to-day business processes for continuous improvement and efficiency. We gather information, we capture this information of all your processes when you use Process Maker. Process Maker is not just a designer, it receives some information, it receives data, and this is going to be used as evidence of maybe a decline in the productivity or procrastination maybe, or you can also use to enhance your better qualities as company. So it's like it's going to show you both opportunities to improve your system and ways to improve even more what was done very well. Third point, it says use of information technology software, including process modeling, process simulation, process repositories, workflow, integration, reporting, and other technologies to automate and further optimize processes. Well, by doing that, I am saying use of information technology software. We know that this is not isolated. We use some technology, we use some software. We want to capture information. We include some important tasks for you like process modeling, process simulation, process repositories, and so on. So we give the tools, you are going to be able to use them in case you require. BPM methodology. I stated in the first part that the BPM is a way of management, okay? It's a way in which I can introduce some concepts and apply them in Process Maker. So the BPM methodology. This is going to be something that you have to pay attention to improve all your daily activities in Process Maker. What does it mean? You have here optimize, build, run, report, and at the beginning it seems to be that there is no logic here, but there is. It's a ring of steps. Build. When I say build, I take a process in the daily life, like for instance, let's give an example. Buying bread. You're going to represent all the activities of buying bread using the concept of build. So you use your designer, you use your process maker, and you start to give a structure to the process. So you identify some steps, you identify some important activities, maybe the payment is the most important activity, and so on. So by doing that, I am introducing the part of build. I recognize a process in my daily work and then I represent it in Process Maker. Run. Once a process is identified, run means I'm going to execute this sequence of tasks every day, every year, every month, and so on. Why? By doing this, I am trying to introduce a way of using my process but executing some tasks. I am making it real. I am making it functional. Finally, you've got report. When I'm saying report, I'm trying to capture, to gather all that information that was run, and by extracting this information, I can become an analyst. I can start analyzing all the information that I have. And then I'm going to introduce some parameters. It might change some important features and so on. That's report. I change according to my needs. I introduce information. Build. Run. I introduce information, and by report I'm going to capture everything in numbers by using some reporting tools. Maybe I'm spending a lot of time going to a store, so that is going to be an evidence from the report. Finally, optimize. I'm going to optimize if I have information, if I have data. That's optimize. I'm going to bring all that set of data. It's data, it's real information, because I have run many times my process. So I'm going to take all that universe of information, of data, and then they are going to pass through the filter of reports. And finally, you as managers are going to optimize. You are going to take some information. You're going to take information based on time, price, maybe information about distances and so on. So here is the part of the manager. Process Maker enhances that activity by introducing your reports, by introducing some features that are going to make possible the optimization and improvement of the daily activities in a company. Design. Well, I have talked about this, but it's not enough to talk about a little bit more. Well, in this case, it's going to talk about Process Maker, because Process Maker allows you to become a designer. Well, 3 features that you can see below. Intuitive drag and drop interface. So it means here you have Process Maker here, the screen and everything, okay? And here you are going to see all of this, okay? So intuitive drag and drop interface, it means that you don't have to read a very big manual to become a designer in Process Maker. And in fact, that's the idea. We want all the users to be well suited with all the design tools that are available in Process Maker. We don't want to make it very complicated, because it's enough. You have your design and that's all. You don't have to make it more difficult than it is. Design meets the requirements of the most common business processes. I know that any business process is going to help. They are going to have very common points among them. For instance, decision making. Decision making is something that you do with a gateway in Process Maker. But decision making, okay, is something that you do in many processes. You hire or you don't hire. You pay or you don't pay. Or you obtain a loan or you don't obtain. So something that are decisions that you have to take based on some parameters. And these decisions are going to be part of your process. And they can be represented in Process Maker by using a process, a picture, a drawing. Easy customization and implementation. Well, first of all is a web-based software. Process Maker is a web-based program, and you are able to customize and implement. When I say easy customization, is that you can modify some features in Process Maker according to what it is required. So you have that idea. Run. Since we have designed our process, run means that any final user, a user that directly uses and he is not an architect, he is going to be able to use forms. And what is a form? Well, it's a set of fields. That's enough. And well, so you are going to see that users are going to use, obviously, some parts of Process Maker. So you have here the idea of run. Well, reports. I have designed, I have used and run many cases, and then there is a point called reports. When I'm using reports, my idea is I have my information, I want to see the parameters, I want to see what is relevant for me. So you are going to see an extensive collection of reports, and they are going to be related to money, time, staff, and so on. So it's a way to show you materially what is happening with your processes, what is happening, the way that you give attention. Is it slow? Is it fast? So many of these adjectives, of this way of qualifying something or giving some appreciation to something, are going to be represented in reports. So reports are going to be relevant. They're going to be crucial in making decisions. Finally, optimize. We have talked about this. When I have a report, it's just some letters and some analysis and some numbers. So the action is going to be taken in this part, that is optimize. So in this case, Process Maker helps you, but doesn't force you to take some decision. It's up on you. So if you think that this is the best decision to share some files, to do something different with your management, or maybe cut some times, or some bottlenecks have to be improved, you are going to take that decision. You are going to optimize everything. benefits: radically reduces the use of physical documents and paper, speeds up approval processes and facilitates communication, automatically generate documents and notifications, more efficient use of human resources and technology, increased quality and integrity of data. So these are the benefits. You are going to see that. Since you are part of the staff members, I'm going to emphasize on data management, the way that we can handle the data in Process Maker. Process Maker as a BPM platform. Well, the picture that you can see here is just a representation of our designer. This is our designer. You are going to be able to use this designer depending on your requirements. You have here the designer. Well, until now, do you have any question? Is it clear? Any question? Okay. Process Maker as a BPM platform. Well, today is like an introduction, so it's the session of introduction, okay? So I'm going to talk about some slides and some representations and so on. Then I'm going to show you some about Process Maker University, Process Maker wiki page, and some important aspects about Process Maker and also the course. Well, let's begin. This is the process designer. You're going to have all these process designers here. It's in the space of design. You have here that I say, this is the drag and drop designer. So it means that I can grab one of the objects that you can see above and leave them on the design lab. So there is that possibility. You will see that in the first lesson. So this is the use of Process Maker in that way. Well, apart from that, you are going to have other important objects like tasks, processes, gateways, and so on. So I'm going to talk later about that, how to use each one of them and how to use them in the appropriate way. Because you might use one of the objects, but maybe you're not obtaining the best benefit from them. You're not taking some advantages of using that. Then you have Process Maker as BPM platform. You can see here in the image a dynaform. What is a dynaform? A dynaform is a set of web controls. I know, but now it's something that you don't really get the idea. But let's think something. You know that you have to fill a form. It means, for instance, you subscribe to a course, you subscribe to something, or maybe a lottery prize and so on. And you are going to see that the electronic form has some controls, some fields. And these fields are called web controls. And they can be the same idea is represented in Process Maker. I'm using all that information and introducing it in Process Maker, handling all those web controls, and the collection of all of them are a dynaform. So in fact, is that you can see there in the image that's a dynaform. A dynaform is something that I can use to fill in my information. So this means I introduce my data but also I can observe data from other people. So it's a way that you can share information. You can share, but not just that, because it's not just an email. That's all. It's a way in which you can introduce some communication among the members or participants of a process. Well, we use many objects in Process Maker. Objects, it means some forms, some input documents, some documents that we might require, even our process and our process design. And you can see here that there is the concept of responsivity. What it means that my screen of Process Maker adjusts to some screen conditions, dimensions, in which I'm going to extend or reduce. There are many things that we can do. So a vast way to introduce my Dynaform, for instance, and they can be shown in a tablet, it can be shown in a computer screen, a laptop, or maybe a smartphone. So you've got these three possibilities. Finally, this is one of the list of cases. So in here I'm trying to show the basic use of Process Maker. You can see here a list of cases in which we can start the activities as final users. You might need more information because you are going to become final users. So it's enough to say that with that taken into account, you're going to be able to use all these information. You are going to use all the cases and so on. So when I talk about cases, when I talk about Process Maker also, I refer to an architect, but also a final user. You can see here another image in which we can have a directory. In that directory, I can introduce some input documents, output documents, and so on. So we extend the way that we can start working in Process Maker. This picture represents a report. Specifically is a KPI. No, excuse me, it's a dashboard. We're going to see some tools in reports, and this one is a dashboard. A dashboard is something that allows me to measure the current state of all my activities in Process Maker. So you are going to see some information here, some important aspects here about the cost, about some efficiency, data, and so on. Architecture. Process Maker system architecture. Well, this is the architecture of Process Maker. You can see here that we start from a process designer, then the form manager, Dynaforms, then the BPM web portal, then UI framework for extensions. Then you have the REST API. In the REST API, you are going to have a BPMN 2.0, document manager, security manager, a schedule manager, and extensions of manager. Okay, I'm going to explain at glance all of this. Process Maker, first of all, is a web-based zone. Then in Process Maker, you are going to have a process designer. You're going to have some objects like forms, and these forms are called Dynaforms. Then you have a BPM web portal, is the way that you can access Process Maker. and some UI framework for extensions. Then you have the REST API. REST is a way to extend functionalities in Process Maker by using by creating an external application. So with REST, I'm going to be able to communicate with Process Maker information and then start creating my own system. Then you have the schedule manager. You're going to see that there are control of times among tasks, then the extensions manager, and finally the data manager. So you can see here some important information that we use in Process Maker. And well, this is the tree of REST as a way in which we can start working with other languages. REST allows me to create an application in a different language, and by using some methods of the protocol HTTP, I can communicate with some information in Process Maker and then obtain all of that. Well, one thing more. Since there is a current trend about using all the APIs of different companies, Process Maker doesn't stay behind, but it goes forward. It goes with the consistent applications and consistent communications with some of the systems that you can see here. Well, introductions to access your Process Maker workspace. Today, I'm going to send you also one credential more. These are going to be your workspaces. Okay, I'm going to send you. You just have to need to know your workspace and start using them. By the way, did all the people receive their credentials of university? Hello? Okay, that's fine. Well, it says Introduction to Access Your Process Maker Workspace. Go to training.processmaker.com, enter the following credentials, admin, then enter the name of the following workspace. And well, with that is enough. Okay, thank you for this part. I'm going to talk a little bit about something. I wish to know the background of all of you. Okay, well, um, let's begin. Well, is there any question about everything that I have said? What do you expect about Process Maker? What are your main objectives for this course? And what idea do you bear in mind about Process Maker? What do you expect? What is something that attracts you to use Process Maker? Okay. So well, I want. Well, I wish to know what was your expectations and everything. So I'm going to well, process maker. As you, I'm going to talk a little bit more. Process maker. The process maker that we use is a web-based software. So I want you to know how to structure your process. So that's a very important condition in BPM systems. Well, they asked me a question. What is a workspace? Since we are going to use a web-based application, there is going to be another site, if we can call it like that, where we are going to reserve some information. We are going to and a workspace is a subdivision of the many ways that we can use process maker. Okay, that's very and extremely important. That's a worker. I'm going to explain later a little bit about workspaces. Okay, so I'm going to explain what is happening with the use of process maker. Do you have? Okay. I'm going to move to that slide. You tell me when to stop, okay? Well, it's on. Which one? Oh, yeah. About how to use your training. Just a moment. I'm going to see. Well, I cannot find. We're going to give you a server, training.processmaker.com, and then we are going to give you some credentials to start using the workspace that you require. Just that. That's the only thing that you have to know. Okay? When you use process maker, I'm going to indicate how to use process maker. Okay? Don't worry about that. I'm going to provide information when necessary. Well, I believe that with this it's clarified, isn't it? Is everything clear? Okay. Well, so this is the way that we present process maker. As you can see, it's a set of functionalities, a way that we can start using all of these. Well, um, and then you're going to meet some requirements that you need. Let's give some rest, okay? We are going to go for a break, and then we restart the rest of the part, okay? I'm going to give you 15-minute break. Is that okay? and then we finish. 15-minute break, and then we come back. I am back. Are you there? Hello? Okay. Can I continue? Can I continue with the explanation? Okay. Well, I was explaining about some. It's an introduction about process maker, BPM, and so on. Now I want to explain about the resources that we can use during this course. And well, I want to know, you are going to use, I believe, both. You're going to use the workspaces, okay, and also the virtual machines. Have you tried the virtual machines? Have you received an email about that? Because it was another option also. Okay, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm going to explain the resources that you use for Process Maker workspaces. Just a moment, please. Okay, back. Well, this is Process Maker, and I have installed this Process Maker. By using an IP address, I can see my Process Maker and start working with it. Okay, so well, this is Process Maker. This is the first login window. So I'm going to click on Process Maker by clicking admin, by entering admin, and then admin here. And I'm introducing both. I'm introducing the username and the password. So both things I'm introducing. So you're going to see here the Process Maker. It's the IP address. And here you're going to see this. This is the workspace. This is the language. This is the scheme, and so on. Let's move back. I'm going to log out. And erase this. Because Process Maker is web-based, you're going to see that I can introduce here my username and then my password. Finally, you introduce here a workspace workflow. Okay? And see now the URL that you have here. It indicates me the IP, then /sys, then / the language. The language is English. EM is the ISO code for the language. then the skin is the appearance of process maker, and then login means the directory that I'm going. If I'm going to log in here, you're going to see all of these. So welcome to process maker. Now this is process maker. Things that you are going to see in process maker. You have at least 5 sections: home, designer, dashboards, KPIs, and admin. Home is where I am going to start the process. It's where I'm going to start running a case. It's where I'm going to start using process maker. It's where also you as final users are going to interact with process maker. And well, in each part of this you are going to see some folders like batch routing, inbox, draft, participated and assigned, post. What it means, all of these options. Since we have folders, we accumulate some information. This information is provided that I run a case. I'm going to obtain some records of a case run. By using that, you're going to see here that I'm going to be able to open a case and see what lies behind. Then you have design. In designer, I'm going to be able to design a process. I'm going to be able to start using a process. So you can see here a functionality of using my process. In this case, this is the process maker, and now you can see the part of the design. I can create a process, and also I can do some important things. So this menu of designer allows me to design a process. So I'm going to be able to create a new process, insert the description, the title of the process, and finally when I finish doing that, I'm going to enter to the space of design. So in the space of design, you're going to use all the tools that you require for your process design. So this is the part of the designer. It's very easy to understand. So you are going to see also that in your server, in the server that we are going to give you, and the workspace that you require, you're going to see that you will be able to use process maker. So a workspace is going to be a separation of activities that provide to process maker, and then each workspace is going to be this, an interface of process maker. So it's a subdivision. Just remember that. A workspace is a way that you divide your own cases from the other cases. Okay, so you can use in that case your own workspace. Now, so we have home designer. Well, let's move to the next one. This is the dashboard, and in the dashboard you are going to see many things like the dashlets. You're going to see some reports about what is the current state of all the information here in process maker. So you're going to obtain that information. It's going to be represented in some reports here in the representation of a dashboard. So this is the use of dashboards. Finally, you have here KPIs. Well, it's not final, it's one of the options. KPIs is something that measures your time, it measures your costs, it measures other features. It's not the only report. You are going to see many ways that you can measure some parameters in Process Maker. But I'm giving you the dashboards and KPI as a references to start with the activity of analysis. So by doing that, you are going to use the dashboards. Finally, you've got the admin, and the admin is going to be a way to modify some features in Process Maker. So in admin, you are going to see that I believe that it's the most complex of the menus, and the richness that it has of features in Process Maker, because you can adjust to many ways and many requirements that you need in Process Maker. So it can be settings, it can be plugins, it can be users, it can be logs, and so on. So what does it mean? That you can upload the logo, you can configure your email server, you can use a different calendar, you can use process categories, you can use your skins, you can use your environment, clear some caches, introduce some tables, modify some login configurations, see the representation in dashboards, then KPIs, and so on. So then you have another 5 uses. Well, so this is one of the ways that you can use Process Maker in that way. Is it clear? Do you have any question until now? Okay. Then you have plugins. And plugins is an extension from all our resources. So you are going to see in that case the way that we can extend all our functionalities by using some plugins. A plugin is a kind of application, a little piece of software, we can call it like that enhance the functionality of Process Maker. So you are going to send that and use it in Process Maker. You can create your own plugins. You can acquire some plugins from our services. So it's up to you. It's depending on what you need and what you require in Process Maker. Then you have the plugin manager. This is the plugin manager in which I can upload something, I can import, and then I can, if I'm going to create my own plugin, I can upload it and then use it. Then you have users, groups, departments, roles, also meet all authentication sources, and user experience. I'm going to emphasize some of the uses and reports that you have. Then you might see some kind of code, and I believe that some people are going to ask about that, because there is a complete part of we are going to cover about some topics of using some coding. Okay, not only management stuff, but I believe that on the 3rd or 4th day of we are going to talk about that, how to use, well, not the third or fourth day, but next week we are going to talk about how to use some code, I believe. So be aware of that. We are going to be talking about the uses of some code. And finally, the logs. With the logs, we are going to see the execution of Chrome. We are going to see some errors and so on. So it's a way to enhance your functionalities. Okay. In settings, I have told you that you can modify some important features in your process maker installation. And based on that, you are going to explore many ways that you can modify or change features like the date, or ways to enhance the security of process maker. So it's up to you. It's something, there are many resources that can be available for you, and at the moment you are going to be free to use them. And also our idea is to make it more real. All the representations in process maker is enhancing or approaching to reality, but also modifying some features that you have here in settings. Well, so this is the first part that you have seen about process maker. Well, you're going to see that it's a very useful software when we are going to start using them. It's going to be on Tuesday that we are going to give some use to process maker and show you some important features about features that you require for the design. It's not just a very static way. You are going to be able to design what you need and what you require, so that depends on you. So it's up to you. You're going to see that there is 100. There are many possibilities to increase your design and improve the way that you can handle all the information that you need in Process Maker. Well, so by doing that, I believe what this part is, I am trying to show you and present some important information about Process Maker. Do you have any comment about this? Well, in the course, during the sessions, because tomorrow we are going to start a session with the practical use, then we are going to see some examples. I want you to show me maybe something that you have seen in your daily work. So I wish that you can start working with that and showing me cases that you have faced in your work, something that you have seen that it can be represented in Process Maker. In general, these, at least the first 2 hours, we try to give some presentations of the resources and everything that we use in Process Maker. So, well, it's a way to expand the horizons. Well, I have talked about all of these. Well, so it's about that. Now, Um, let's see something that it's very interesting here. So let's see something here. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you another thing. This is the wiki page, the processmaker.com. It's a wiki page. It's well, you can see here. You can see the getting started, tutorials, user guide, developer info, admin, helpful resources, segment. So, well, this is the wiki page. But what is a wiki page? The wiki, we use the wiki page because we want to just collect all the information about Process Maker. And that's the wiki page. It's like a Bible, and in this Bible you are going to find many resources about everything. You know, it means like how to use some triggers or some functionalities or some reporting tools and so on. So this is the wiki page. Things that you have to take into account. This is getting started. Here you are going to see some videos and some important issues that you can see about designer experience, the end user experience, and so on. Then you've got the tutorials, and well, this getting started is like we're going to show you what is Process Maker, and then there you have. You're going to find some information. Then you got the part of tutorials. Just a moment, let's wait, okay? For a while. I'm going to show you the part of tutorials. Okay, so in this part of tutorials, you're going to be able to use a demo. For instance, this is a demo about design. I'm going to play it. Okay, so this is one of the chapters. It's fluent process modeling. You're going to be able to click here, and then we are going to see a video about process modeling. You can see there. Let's see right well this video.
And drop it onto the process.
It's a very short video, but just pay attention to some details here.
You can start your process by dragging and dropping.
It's a way to introduce you.
Onto the process. When left-clicking on an element, the quick toolbar will appear. Choose a task icon from the quick toolbar and move it to the process map. Both elements will be automatically connected after the new task is added to the process map. The quick toolbar can also be used to create gateways and events, which also automatically connect to other elements in the process. Additionally, it is possible to add connectors, configure properties, or delete the current element using the quick toolbar. To define the direction of your workflow, You can use gateways. Gateways are elements used to control how the flow behaves among elements of the design. They act like a mechanism that controls, defines, and regulates flows based on the routing rules. Lastly, you need to add a final element to complete your design, an end event.
Well, this is one of the things that you have in process modeling. So you're going to see also all the videos, all the resources, and so on. Let's go back here. We have seen the tutorials. Then the user guide. In the wiki page, you're going to find this user guide, and it has some important topics that we have to discuss. For instance, here you have logging, how to create your first process, managing users, and so on. So many important topics that you have to pay attention while designing all your processes. Well, basically it's about you, about architects, about how to use your information and how to use some resources in Process Maker. So you've got here logging, then you have how to create your first process, managing users' roles, using conditions, and so on. So it's a way that you find a lot of information here, a lot of information, and is organized in the way that you can search for it and look for more information. So you're going to see that information, you're going to explore some topics here, and so on. So basically it's that. It's given in that way that you can start doing some important advances in Process Maker. So you are not alone. You have the wiki page and also some examples. So try to look for it. You have some tabs here: advanced design, user experience, mobile features, and for instance advanced design, you're going to see more advanced, that's obvious, more advanced objects and tools for Process Maker. For instance, dependent fields, how to create dependent fields, process supervisors, process permissions, and so on. The terminology is very important in the sense that I use all this terminology and is familiar across all the wiki page and also Process Maker. This integrates also the university. This integrates also the university course. I'm going to look for you after the university course. You can see here like process permissions and so on, the case tracker, the case node, the case summary, and a vast amount of information. Why do I need to present all of this? Because sometimes there are users who are lost in and they can find help here. User experience. So here another type of information, it's about the user experience. And also the versions. You can find some information from 2.x to versions 3.1 or later. Okay. Finally, mobile features. Mobile features is going to contain information about all the web controls that they use, the ways that the MISA Process Maker for smartphones. So you're going to find all that information here. Then you have developer info, and here we are going to emphasize on programming. So basically we use 3 languages for programming. One is HTML, is just front-end design. And to enhance the functionality of front-end, I'm going to use JavaScript. JavaScript is going to be relevant in this sense. Is there anyone who is developer here? Because, well, on developer, as the name says, we're going to explore just code and some important features like libraries, frameworks, and so on. So we expand the horizons and the way that the developers are going to taste Process Maker and its benefits. So you've got here the JavaScript in Dynafirms, JavaScript functions and methods, adding masks to Dynafirm fields, PHP and triggers, Process Maker functions, internal functions and classes, trigger examples, and so on. So it's the WSDL web services, plugin development, so a vast amount of information, a vast amount of information about programming related to Process Maker. We also talk about data integration. So you are going to think about the databases that we use. Generally, we generally use SQL databases, and as a DBMS, the classical one that I'm going to use is the PHP MyApp. Okay, because it's web-based. Well, one thing that I want to talk about it is this. Think that it's an opportunity to increase your capacities in Process Maker. So you are going to find here a vast amount of information in data integration. Well, you can find well, you can search for all of these. It depends to you. It's up to you. And finally, REST API. I want to know if there is any developer, he could make me some questions. But the point is that we try to emphasize on both sides, people who are architects and also who are developers. Okay, so I'm going to present a little bit about this, and then close and go to Process Maker University. It's important because some developers, sometimes you have some people who want to use functionalities of Process Maker using the criteria of a developer. And then you have the system administration, some basic things, helpful resources, and finally the site map. Okay. Do you have any question about this? Is everything clear? Okay, I move on. Now university, and university is going to be special for you. In this URL, you're going to find this login page, and in here you need to insert the username and the password. So let's introduce them. So I'm going to search for both. I'm going to find the password and then all the relevant things. So I'm going to enter my password and then entering my username and finally the password. Then login. Okay? And well, you have all this information, and these are courses. We're going to see that it has a section of courses. It's divided. It has some important. Well, you're going to see the structure of each course, but not all the courses are the same. We are going to use two courses. The first one is this one. Advanced Architect course. And well, how does it work? Well, the courses are used in this way. First of all, you are going to find that there is a lesson, PMN projects, and and below you are going to find a description of what is happening about this lesson, the content. Then you have a for you to read, and if you click here this, it will send you to this page, and finally it sends you to the wiki page. So you can find here information about process map, basic tools, pools and lanes, tasks, gateways, importing and exporting diagrams and processes, and the promotion manager. So, well, these are in general the first section for you to read is a way that it sends you, it sends you to information in the wiki page, sends you to process maker, the wiki page. Then you have two videos or one video that depends, and it's going to show you what is happening with process maker. Then you've got the coursework, and in the coursework you are going to find here the lab modeling a process. So a lab is an exercise, is a practical exercise, and I'm going to give you some time to do this lab. By doing the lab, you are going to get access to some practical knowledge. Okay, it's a way to review what you have seen with me, with the trainer, or in the session. Finally, below you've got the quiz, and the quiz is going to test your abilities to retain some information. So don't worry about that because it's a multiple option quiz, and it's not it's not part of the evaluation, okay? But try to do it, it's important. It's important because you are going to test what you have learned in Process Maker. Responsive Dynamo Editor. This says, the responsive Dynamo Editor in Process Maker provides an easy way to quickly create powerful forms by dragging and dropping elements and configuring their properties. What it means that? We are going to see, again, this is another lesson. So you are going to see the description. It says, okay, we are going to learn something that is related to the design of forms, and it's called Dynamo. And that's all. Then you got for you to read, you have the section of links to the Process Maker wiki. Then you've got the video, and in the video you're going to see obviously a video about the topic. And finally the coursework. Coursework consists always of labs and quizzes. If I click on one of the labs, like this one, you are going to find a set of instructions that you have to follow. You have to follow each one of the labs, because each one of the labs is going to send you to a final conclusion of all the lab. What it means that we are going to be able to design a process, a product, because all the chain of labs that I'm using here in Process Maker, they are integrated and they are going to construct the final product, a process with some features, with some characteristics. And a quiz is this one. Well, you can start again the quiz, so you can say reattempt the quiz. Okay. Do you have any question? Today I'm going to send you an email. You have to follow some instructions, and then you are going to open your workspace. For instance, this is the server that you are going to use, and I'm going to do all of this, and I have created a workspace like this one. Then I need to upload a license here. I'm going to do that today, and then you're going to directly see all of this in Process Maker. So that's something that you're going to do with each one of your processes. But don't worry about that, because it's just I'm going to upload the license for you, and it's going to enable the use of all functionalities in Process Maker. So this is the environment that you are going to use, the training.processmaker.com. In this case, the workspace is get1, but each one of you, I mean the students, have their own workspaces. Okay, so just that, it's a reference that I'm giving to you. Do you have any question? Okay. Okay, that's fine, Daniel. Well, but it's just introducing all your information in the training server environment. Okay, you just have to log in and you are there. Nothing more. I'm going to be in charge of uploading your licenses, and I'm going to let you know which one is your workspace. So don't worry about that. I know that you are more final users. So in this case, I'm going to work on that. Okay. Then about all the topics that we have discussed, I believe that there is not something that I need to emphasize to explain, because we haven't seen at least Process Maker. The point is that we generally give 4-hour sessions. Yeah, and in 4-hour sessions, I usually finish the part also of designing a process. And for you, it might seem like, okay, we have just talked about some resources and some theoretical background. But tomorrow, I assure you, I swear you, we're going to start with some practical action. No, it's let hands on lap. No, we are going to start doing some action here. Then, yeah, it sounds like a plan. So we try to do that. It's like, even for that, I try to. For me, it's very important to emphasize on that. I know that for some people, it's like, okay, I want to do something right now. Just wait. There are many things that we are going to discuss. Then, well, I told you about your background, your daily work, and what to do. Um, have you ever heard about the BPM, or have you ever used a software planifier or something like that? Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah, I understand. Because there are many resources. Maybe you can ask also about some. The point is that we have worked with a lot of education institutions, and well, they have required some important things about, for instance, hundreds of requests that we receive and everything. Well, some I remember a long of time ago about the experience of some people that they could not handle with a lot of information from students, and we developed an application. I remember that the DLE, something like that, where we could handle a lot of requests from the students, but it was apart from Process Maker. It was a way to systematize everything in Process Maker. So maybe try to find also things that you need. Maybe use some bottlenecks, and in that case, an application that we have developed can help you a lot. Especially when you have to handle some requests of the students. You have many of them, and we have used another queue system and then organize all the flow of requests that we had that they received. I mean, our customers have received. So it's not the first time that I face the case of working with some education institution. Well, but maybe we also we see other possibilities to work in. Well, um, we have gone through all of this. We first started with the slides. I have shown you all these slides. As you remember, we have gone through about Process Maker, the way we are going to, the structure is organized, the structure of the course, then the BPM. What is a BPM? You know that it's a management system. So you are going to see some features that are going to help you to use, and also the ring of, design, run, then you have report, and finally optimize. Is the basic idea that you have in Process Maker. And well, this is one of the ring of everything, the ring of management. Then we have explored some features about the wiki page, so we can see. And you know that this vast amount of information with all of the details arranged and everything. So it's just that. And well, as you can see here, we have also see the part of logging. Then we have seen the part of the university. So tomorrow we are going to extend all our knowledge. We are going to do the hands-on lab, and well, just that. So I'm going to send you that email and start working with you tomorrow. Okay? So thanks for your attendance. Thanks for all. See you tomorrow, Tuesday.